So today we're going to continue with these SBCs. We have got some more added, a few icons, a few nice players, and the growing possibility of finishing all of these is dwindling very, very quickly. We've obviously gone into the winter sort of promo now. The Thunderstruck has been relatively decent, to be fair, and we've gone into the Ultimate Succession, which has come with a player pick, giving a lot of people Ronaldinho. Unfortunately not myself, but there is some SBCs that you can still do to hopefully combat it. Now, Mode Mastery is going to be a big one as well. That is just giving you the ability to play every game mode and hopefully get enough for either Rodrigo or get some packs that should hopefully give you the players that you need for one of these cards, or at least some of one of these cards. So let's kind of go into the icons first, as we've had a couple of extra additions in Raul and also Buffon. Now, we've still got the standards, which I think for me are kind of looking worse and worse as we get better icons out. Obviously, like we always said, we started with Varane, Xavi, I was going to say Xavi Alonso, which we did, and also Zanetti. To be honest, I will not go over them massively, because I think at this point, if you've done them, you don't need to hear about it, because naturally you'd have finished them by now. They have got 24, 7 and 15 days left, so they are coming towards the end, hence why we're getting more and more icons as we go. I don't personally think any of these are worth completing, in my opinion, especially with the cards that we have got out recently, and also some of the promo cards that we have got that are relatively cheaper than these lot. Now, they're not necessarily bad cards. I think if you're building a past and present, if you're just grinding one player and you don't really care for a Cruyff or a Vini or a Saka, then fair enough. Like, they're not bad value cards. I just don't think they're worth completing, in my opinion. Cruyff is kind of on that list as well in some aspects. Now, the one thing that Cruyff has is his name. Like, let's be real, Cruyff in FC terms, in FIFA terms, is always been incredible. No matter the version, we see flashback Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, eventually hopefully Mbappe, and Cruyff is no different. This is their sort of flashback. And yes, he's a million coins, which, to be fair, isn't necessarily the worst. He has had, well, he can go into the classic 10. The only problem, and I think the biggest thing that they need to address, change the skin available. I'm pretty sure that, well, actually, to be fair, I'm sure that UFL, you can change the skin that they're in. I swear this was a thing announced before, whether they're going to bring it in, but you surely can change it, because that is hideous. I want to be able to put him in the classic 10 and change him back to on this day skin. I don't see how that's not difficult enough, especially when they are selling cosmetics, that if you was then to go and put that person in evolution, you lose that cosmetic that you've paid for. It makes no sense to me. But getting on to the SBC topic for him. If you need coins in FC25, lootbar.gg has you covered. They are the cheapest trading platform on the game, 8 to 10% cheaper than any others, 8% off if you use the code JT11 at the end at checkout, plus you get 5% extra on coins. With the fastest delivery system going, used by many FC25 creators such as Zorky, Manny Plus, and even Pro owners. So if you need any coins, head over to lootbar.gg, make sure JT11's in the promo code, and hopefully you enjoy. Obviously, the 93 is better. I think everybody can kind of see that in a nutshell. But when it comes to the Cruyff that we've got, still a 5-5. He's got the tiki-taka, which he only had first touch anyway, so it's not necessarily the worst upgrade or downgrade of a playstyle plus, if you see it that way. Stats wise, still very good, and he does have the body type of Cruyff, so that's always going to have a big bonus within him. Now, a lot of people will see him as kind of just this player that I could miss out on, especially when we have got other SBCs. Now, when I put him into a must complete, I know I definitely had this last year, is if I put Saka, Vini, Casemiro, Giroud, Keane and Cruyff into a must complete, it's not that you should do everybody, because naturally that's going to be a lot of coins. If you had Putellas already, you then did Vini, you then did Saka, and then you've still got to do Cruyff, that's like 4 million coins worth of fodder. You probably, especially free wise, can't do this without spending money. Unless you have got the luckiest pat weight that I have ever seen in my life, you're getting 86 as a minimum. You're not going to be able to finish this with not buying points, not buying packs. It's just literally it's impossible to do everybody. This is just to say, if you want to complete him, that for me is a player that I think is worth completing. So just to get that out of the way. Now we have got Desai, Raul and Buffon. Now, obviously with them, I think Desai in himself is kind of a bit of an unfortunate one that we have got so many top-end centre-backs. Like, he's just come at the wrong time at this point. He's a great card. I think the value at 960, little bit expensive when Virgil's 150. Granted, I know stats-wise and icon-wise, Desai is very, very good, but Virgil is as meta as it comes, really. Then we've got a free Konate coming at the end of this season. Saliba isn't that expensive. And they're just the bog standards just taken from the start of the game. Let alone the amount of centre-backs that we've got. Ashar, if you've managed to get him from, I want to say the rival mastery, if you've managed to get him there, is an incredible centre-back. So spending 1 million coins, unfortunately for Desai, has come at a price. I personally don't think he's worth it either. Raul is another one that is quite a funny one, because I do think Raul is 100% worth the coins. He, as a card, he's unbelievable. Now, if you've obviously managed to get his 90, I don't think there's that much of an upgrade that I'd say go and spend the extra 500k completing this SBC if you've already got the base. So I think when it comes to Raul, unfortunately for him, he again is a little bit expensive for what SBCs we've got out. There is plenty of base icon upgrades now. We are seeing the compensation for the 91 plus. That is going to drive out a lot of kind of competition for this SBC, because we're going to be seeing, well, I'm praying, a lot of Ronaldinhos, a lot of Cruyffs, a lot of R9s. There's only so many 91s that are going to be not worth that compensation, especially if they have already getting it for free. They already got an icon on top of that as well. So unfortunately for our Raul, again, another one that is just unfortunately a bit too expensive for what I think should be done right now. Now, in terms of a card, if you've done him, I don't think he's a bad player. This is not a tier list on who's bad, who's good. This is on should you complete this SBC. And unfortunately, with all of the players that we've had, as well as then the likes of Nunez, the likes of obviously Keane, I think personally for me, he just isn't worth the coins that you're going to spend. Now, Buffon is always an interesting one. I am interested in the fact that they have gone 4 ratings below. I mean, I get it, like that is the kind of point what Cruyff got, and some of them did, but I think with keepers, they could have gone a little bit higher with him. I don't think it would be that much of a problem. Like, he's only half the value of what the 91 is. And in terms of SBC points of view, he's got 9 SBCs to do. Take off 2 of them because obviously they're bronze and silver. Take off another one because that's 83, meaning he's got 6 in total. And then you've got an 83, an 84, an 85, an 86, 7, and 7. He's really not that bad to complete, and I do think he is one of the better icon goalkeepers that we've got. Now, I don't think he's the best. I still think that, unfortunately for him, that Van der Sar takes that lead, in my opinion. And obviously, when it comes to stats, it's very standard. He's got himself, is it the far reach, I want to say? We've got play styles here. The far reach, I'm much more of a fan of the rush out, so again, it goes down to preference of goalkeeper, depending on what playstyle plus you like. I'm a big fan of Courtois at the moment. I think the rush out is a fantastic one as that lifesaver, as a non-practical defender, in my opinion. I am very much rush out and try and tackle, get the ball, run the offside trap, and try and just get the ball back as quick as possible. And then I'll more than likely lose it as quick as possible as well. So I'm not perfect when it comes to defending, and the keeper having that rush out is my last line in defense. And I'd say, to be fair, 7 to 8 times out of 10, if you time it right, it does work really well. With the far reach, it probably has its capabilities as well, with a finesse shot maybe kind of taker, but most of the time, it's in and around the box that I concede my goals. A pass around the goalkeeper, it doesn't matter what stats they have there. You more than likely are going to lose that battle. So for me, I think with Buffon, I'd put him at decent value. I think if you're running out of ideas for a keeper and you've just not found the one that you want, did he get a loan? In fact, he should have had a loan, actually. We get Do we get a loan for that one? I've not actually looked, but yeah, you do, on a loan. So get a loan. Give him a tryout at a minimum. You've got this one here, 83 rated squad. Give him a go before finishing the rest. He isn't necessarily that expensive, so I think value-wise, he's probably on the mark. So I can kind of be fair enough with that. Which then leads us on to the players. Now, we've got a few that are pretty much just been there for the whole of this time, so we kind of just run through them a bit quickly. I think the likes of Chris Wood, we've got a few cheaper ones that realistically are not necessarily a go-to to complete, but in terms of fodder purposes, evolution purposes, they're going to be worth it pretty much just to get them done. Chris Wood, 30k. We've obviously got the League One Player of the Month coming in at 30k as well. Hendricks at 50. They are just extra little bits of nuggets that you could throw in and potentially get either a nice evolution for them that either is for more fodder purposes or it does actually make them relatively decent. Now, with the League One Player of the Month having flair, that already writes him off until a double playstyle plus. That isn't happening anytime soon. Chris Wood with a power header, I think he's got possibility, but to be fair to him, it looks like he might get another card very soon as well. I think has he had an inform? He's had an inform and a player of the month, so he's more than likely going to get a special card at some point that's higher rated, which will always be nice. And I think other than that, I suppose Keane, but to be fair with Keane, he actually got some stats, so we will look at him shortly. What are they called? The Winter Champions Reward. Obviously, again, going to go into more of an SBC storage more so than anything. And to be fair, Giroud is there as well, but again, he is worth looking at. McTominay is also worth looking at as well. And then we've also got two showdowns that we can kind of get in. Both of them standard, I'd say. So the showdowns, for the price that they're paying, I'd say more SBC storage. Now we look at a bit of McTominay. Now they can have a double upgrade like the other winter champs if they do kind of proceed. But when it comes to McToms, Intercept Plus, big fan of him. Some nice stats across the board. Some very good defensive physical. If you're running a Serie A team, he's a perfect shoe-in. Regardless of if he does get the upgrade or not. He's going to be a great evolution at some point. Obviously, he's got the wide half if you wanted to, but in terms of what he can get, again, it's going to be annoying changing that skin over because I do love the design of this one. It gives me very much basic Footmas vibes. It's not quite there. It is champs more than anything, but you can see that they've brought it out at a specific time. I like what they're trying. It would be nice, and you can kind of see the borders as well. It's kind of there, but it isn't. So it's kind of fair enough, but a very good card for the value that you're paying. Now, I wouldn't say he's an absolute must, but if you are running a Serie A team, him, Barella, some lovely Serie A cards that you can kind of keep going with. And then we also have the likes of Giroud, 86 rated in his Ultimate Succession, 41,000 coins, which is always nice. Obviously, he's going to have the Ultimate Succession upgrade as well. I think is a great must if you haven't got another player that's worth it. There's only so many that can actually go into this upgrade as well, so always be wary of who you're going with. But I think in terms of what you're looking at here, I'd say really the only kind of couple that I'd go with, Milner's a free card, so it's a potential, but I don't think he's running the midfield. You've obviously got this guy who could play in centre-back, unbelievable. Endo could have a nice upgrade at some point as well, and that's kind of it. Akanji always, but I'd say Giroud is a card that you can definitely get. Could be worth that upgrade. So again, he's going to be in very good value in my opinion. And then the final one, who did we say? It was Keane. Now, in terms of Keane, he's always been a great Serie A striker. Him mixed with a bit of Thuram is always going to be a nice bonus. I'm talking about the Ultimate Succession Thuram, who looks absolutely stunning. Whereas Keane, great pace up front. He's got a bit of Travella. Can go controlled lengthy, but depending on what play style you go, what chemistry style you go with. Yeah, chemistry style. Is it chemistry? Yeah, chemistry style. Honestly, playstyle, chemistry style, rolls. Honestly, great dribbling. Obviously, 6 foot as well. Some great shooting. I think he, for me, is an absolute must as a potential going forward. Now, he does have, obviously, a road to the knockout without a playstyle plus. But the fact that they did give him a Travella, I think he's going to be an absolute must for the future as well. In the Serie A team, but then also as an evolution, if we get a striker that turns out to be 90. And we're talking a little bit of time, yeah. It's not necessarily going to be in the next week or month, but in the future, this card could potentially be an absolute baller in there. Throwing in a few more of the previous SBCs, we've obviously had Casemiro, we've had Beasley, and also Kane. I think in terms of value-wise, all of them are fantastic. I would say the only one that I'd say is a must in terms of positioning and the potential of evolution would be Casemiro. I think he's a fantastic card for a CDM. But then also we have got the likes of McTominay that could reach an evolution quicker than him and then potentially take over him for a little bit. It's an interesting theory. We do also have a Villa. He's going to be, I don't think he was that expensive actually. He was coming in at, if we go player, if it wants to go player is what we want. I've broke footbin. And we're back again. So in terms of Villa, he's coming in at 31,000. Pretty standard. Nothing really too crazy. Not a fan of the Chip Shot Plus. But he could be a card that evolution. Maybe you need a World Tour card. It could be worth collecting at a minimum. These are just as and when you kind of fancy completing them. But we do have still quite a lot of high rated SBCs still to go through. Now obviously with that we're going into kind of the new ones. We did see Saka as a previous one coming in at 711. He now has got the full upgrade, so he is going to be a 90 once they do upgrade the Thunderstrucks. For me, I do think he is kind of a must complete in that position. And same with Vini. I don't think it really takes too much to convince me with these two, but they're very, very decent in what they can do. Saka with the finesse on the inside, Vini with the rapid on the outside. Both can shoot, both have the dribbling. It's a very nice upgrade for them both. Now, like I said with the Cruyff, I'm not saying you complete every single one of these, but if you could pick one, I personally would go with Vini as the number one choice. Saka is coming in a bit cheaper than Cruyff, not necessarily a crazy amount more, but he's still got that possibility to be completed. Now, we've still got 18 days and 20 days for all of them, so there is a lot of time still there to go with it, but you will have to kind of go and basically go for just them. You can't be doing the gamble SBCs. You've still got to get lucky in packs if you want to complete it for as very little coins spent. And then even if you get to the final few days and maybe you're a little bit off the second one, then obviously you're going to have to spend a few coins to get them done. Maybe you go for one of them gamble packs and hope you get something big. But by then, if you're on the last few SBCs, you might have the 83 4s and 5s to be able to do the road to the knockout upgrades, the total rush and all of them kind of gamble SBCs rather than the base and hero. They do come in quite expensive as well. Which leaves us with a few of the Thunderstrucks. We have got Zaha, we've got Peugeot and Barella. So Barella's coming in at 400, we've got Peugeot coming in at 100, and we've got Zaha coming in at 100. Now for me, I think it's quite an easy one with the few of these. I think Peugeot would have been the must complete if it wasn't for the 3-star weak foot. She's got very good stats across the board, which I do like, but I think she's just decent value rather than the must. Whereas I think Barella, again, is a wonderful centre mid for your Serie A team. And Zaha with a quick step is a great super sub. If you are looking for 100k, nice super sub on the bench, very good pace, potential evolution for a little bit more on that passing and shooting eventually. But for right now, I think he's a wonderful card to get. Patry is an easy one for me as well, 250. She was unbelievable as a gold. She is just as good in that 90 as well, especially if you have done a Putellas, if you've got Hansen in your team, if you've got Bonmati in your team, anybody like that, she is well worth having in there. But I think even as a standalone, if you're running a La Liga, a Spanish, a Barcelona team, she has got to be somewhere within that team. Which leaves us with a striker Carragher. Very interesting. It's funny because I saw it got leaked and then I realized I kind of saw a clip like a couple of days before him saying that he started out as a striker. So we've got Earner Special on this day, Jamie Carragher, celebrating the moment he scored against Buffon for England under-16 on December 8th, 1993. Now, I don't know if he did play as a striker in this role, but he definitely said that he was a striker in his early years. He didn't say if it was professional or not, but I like that they've gone for something different. I've been waiting for a shapeshifter-esque promo. Hopefully that is coming soon, but I kind of like it. Now, I don't think he's anywhere near useful enough. I mean, the card itself is going to be more of a centre-back, which he can play. I can just respect that they have gone with a striker-themed card, but obviously only giving him the striker bonus, but still giving him defensive. I like that they've gone with that. Now, obviously he's gone with a power header. I'm not a fan of that one as a defensive playstyle plus, but I could still at least appreciate they didn't make this card too expensive. I would say he's just decent value for a little bit of fun. It's one of them. It will be good once we do get the double playstyle pluses added for an evolution, because at least then we could give him a block, a slide tackle, and anticipate eventually, and then maybe a bit of an upgrade as well. But I do at least appreciate that they're trying something different when it comes to actually giving the cards. Now that's going to be everybody. We've got a full list at the moment, so I'd imagine a lot of these cards are going to run out very soon, and then we just keep going with them. The icons obviously have got about 2 to 3 weeks left, and then we'll start getting more and more. So let me know, what have you completed, what are you working towards, and I'll catch you all for the next one.